Good morning, children. Sairam. So today we are going to continue with chapter number 4 of agriculture, types of commercial farming, part 3. Commercial farming, as you know, that the name suggests itself, commercial means farming or the agricultural processes carried out in order to gain profit. So, children, before heading towards the next topics, let's have a quick revision that what topics did we covered in the last class. In types of farming, we have covered subsistence farming, primitive farming, intensive farming, shifting cultivation, nomadic herding. Now, when we are heading towards the types of farming, commercial farming is further divided or bifurcated in three types of farming, that is mixed farming, commercial grain farming, and plantation farming. So let's start with the first type of farming, that is commercial farming. Yes, when we deal with commercial farming, now what is commercial farming? Farming and selling crops in order to generate a profit, sells everything that the farm produces. Efficiency is the key. Maximum yields and high profits are needed to sustain this type of farming. It involves more technical input as machinery obtains greater output. Normally occupies a larger size of land. Children, when we are discussing about commercial farming, we can actually commercial, when we talk about commercial or primitive, see, primitive is something which has been existing from ages, and commercial means on a broad scale, something which is grown, which is reared in order to gain profit, in order to generate a profit motive in commercial farming. So you can now understand the farming of those crops which are actually exported, that is, which are sold out in order to earn money. Fine. So next, in commercial farming, you can see this particular picture. By this picture, you can have an idea that commercial farming really requires massive land. You need large land in order to have a large scale production. Definition of commercial farming: commercial farming actually leads with mixed crop and livestock farming, ranching, dairying, and large scale grain production. It deals with the farmers produce their production and the crops that they cultivate in order to sell them in the market to gain a profit, that is, to earn good amount of money. Commercial, I repeat again, means large scale production. Plantation farming is another form of commercial farming. Actually, it is practiced in less developed countries. So, children, when we talk about commercial farming and under the category of mixed farming or mixed crop and livestock farming, what is the definition? When we talk about mixed crop and livestock farming, the definition is that it involves a farm that grows crops and raises animals. Most crops, I repeat, most crops are used to feed the farm animals, provide manure, fertilizer for sale, as well as goods Most of the mixed farms income comes from the sale of its animal products. Main thing. Then it reduces farmers' dependence on seasonal crops, devotes nearly all land to crops, but only three-fourths of income comes from the sale of animal products. It exists widely throughout Europe and Eastern Northern America. Usually, the farms are near large urban areas. Most of the mixed farms practice crop rotation. Now, what is actually crop rotation? When we talk about this facility, this particular feature, so what is crop rotation? Can anyone tell? When we are talking about crop rotation, you might have studied in previous classes also. Let me give you a quick review of this term. Crop rotation means that in one year, if suppose in one year crop is a particular crop is grown, so in the next year that crop would not be cultivated. The soil will be allowed to retain its quality for that particular crop. Okay, and some other crop would be grown in place of that. So crop rotation actually helps the farmers to retain the value of as well as the nutrients of the soil. Now next comes the plantation farming. This is What is plantation farming? First of all, it involves large scale farming operations that specialize in farming of one or two high demand crops for export, usually to more developed regions, are called plantations or agricultural estates. That is plantation estates or agricultural estates. You can easily make it out that plantation farming plantation farming, the basic motive is the export of the crops, export of those crops, and usually to the more developed regions in order to earn profits. Now they are introduced in tropical and subtropical zones by European colonizers. Now, what are the crops that are grown? The crops that are grown are coffee, tea, pineapple, palm, coconut, rubber, tobacco, sugarcane, and cotton. Taking you to a small trip to your NCERT textbook, taking you for a trip to the NCERT book. Children, here we have where when we are talking about the different type of, just giving a revision that as such we have covered the various topics or not. When we are talking about types of farming, we have covered subsistence and commercial farming. After that, we have done subsistence farming, intensive agriculture farming. Then we have done primitive subsistence agriculture farming, that includes shifting cultivation and nomadic herding. And then now we are on commercial farming, which we have actually covered. And now under commercial farming we have actually taken commercial farming, mixed farming, and now we are doing plantations. Now plantations, I would like to reintroduce you again. Plantations are a type of commercial farming in which single crop of tea, coffee, sugarcane, cashew nut, rubber, banana, or cotton are grown. Large amount of labor and capital are required in it. The produce may be processed on the farm itself or in nearby factories. The development of a transport network is thus essential for such farming. Now, Major plantations are found in the tropical regions of the world: rubber in Malaysia, coffee in Brazil, tea in India and Sri Lanka, and are some examples. Okay, children, now let's switch back to our notes. When we talk about plantation farming, how and where it is done today, plantation farming is largely reflective of global power structures. Most of them exist in the low latitude regions of Africa, Asia and Latin America. Most are owned by the companies from more developed countries, often to take the best land from the natives. Now, most of the plantations exist in location that has any easy coastal access for export. Now, why do we need easy coastal access, or why a coastal access only? Why it has to be very easy, readily available? Because of the transportation. And now, why transportation is required? Obviously, when your harvest is ready, when the output of the cultivation is ready, it has to be exported. And plantation farming is a commercial farming. That commercial itself means something, an activity carried out for the purpose of earning, by the motive of earning profit. Fine, children. So it is an important factor that exports shall be carried out in a region where transportation is readily available. Now, through modern plantations, this particular process or procedure of farming has become very easy. Through modern plantations, we have integrated advanced technology. I repeat, advanced technology, still labor intensive, and large number of seasonal workers are used. In this form of plantation, agriculture remains in the subtropical and tropical US. Migrant workers are also used for labor. Plantation farming, you can say, serves as a mode through which many migrant workers also get job or employment opportunities. As plantation farming is a large scale cultivation process and no such yield or harvest is kept for personal uses, even a single crop which is left is grown for just export purpose, so that the farmers or the owner can actually earn handsome profits. Now, what are the characteristics in a small briefing? A single crop is grown over a large area, planted in neat rows with well-developed network of transportation and communication, connecting plantation areas, processing industries and markets together. So what is the major point is that a single crop that is grown in a large area is planted properly with a network of transportation and communication, connecting plantation areas first, processing industries and markets together. Now, production is the main factor first of all, and it is mainly for the market and not for the farmer's self consumption, as it was there in intensive and subsistence farming. Now, involves modern inputs like chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides. Modern machinery is required, and obviously it is labor intensive. So these are the characteristic features or the characteristics of plantation farming. So now let's have a look on the next type of farming. Now, this is mixed farming. Children, can you tell what is which kind of, before, instead of looking at the slide, can you all tell what kind of agriculture, what picture can you see, what crops are grown in this field? Can you tell before having a look at the slide? Can anyone tell? You can easily tell that these are the banana trees. These are the banana trees. But what is grown here? Which fields are here? What is the crop that has grown here? Can anyone tell? This is rice. This is rice. One more option. See and tell. What is it? Can anyone tell? Fine. In the previous picture itself, you saw the rice fields. So you are now able to remember or recollect that yes, it is rice. But what is this, children? Now what picture, what crop or what plant is it? Can anyone of you tell? It's not sugarcane, it's bamboo. In picture, some of you might be saying sugarcane. It is not sugarcane, it is bamboo. So let's get back to the slides. Okay, this is called mixed farming. Fine. Mixed farming by planting banana trees in rice fields is agricultural system in which a farmer conducts different agricultural practices together too. Now, what is the purpose of mixed farming? Why two crops? In the other slide we saw that bamboo trees are grown in the rice fields. Fine, but why? Why we have to go ahead with mixed farming? The primary objective, I repeat, the primary objective of practicing mixed farming is to maximize the yield and of course the income. Is to maximize the yield and of course the income of the farmer. Okay, this system also aims at fully utilizing the available land, labor throughout the year. Furthermore, here are some advantages and disadvantages of mixed farming that will help you understand the system better. But before moving ahead with the advantages and disadvantages, I would like to explain you this with the help of a flowchart. See children, first how mixed farming takes place. Advantages and disadvantages will naturally come. Okay, first and the foremost step, if a crop fails, others may yield extra. Okay, suppose we have here banana and we have rice over here. Fine, we have rice over here. Suppose this gets failed, but at least we have this crop with us, isn't it? If suppose this crop, that is the banana yield fails, it is not able to sustain, it is not able to give us the optimum harvest. So what will happen? We will not suffer any loss because we already have another harvest with us. We have another crop to support our system. Fine. So in this way we are able the profit, or you can say we are able to cope up with the profit and the losses. Fine. So now second step, that for pests and disease, crops are hidden between each other. Now you can see yes, you can see that for pests and diseases, crops are hidden between each other. That is, this is a simple thing. You can see, if suppose rice is grown here, the second banana is there, rice, banana, and so that pests cannot affect directly. The pest cannot attack the fields directly. Then after this we have the third step. Crops with complementary root system can exploit the soil more completely. Suppose we have sweet potato over here. We have sesame as well as sweet potato. Sesame have roots, but sweet potato doesn't have that much of. You can see here this gap, this particular space. You can see this in between space between these both the crops. You can see. So the nutrient value of the soil is used in an optimum manner and it does not get tarnished in one go. Next, fourth step, crops with complementary growth in seasons can exploit and water more completely. That is, if suppose you have if you have rainy season, one crop which needs more water, its requirements can be met, and the other which needs less water can survive. So in that, conclusion is that together the crops will protect the soil from action of wind, sun, rain. Fine, children. So it becomes, we can say, two purposes are served in one go. Fine, children. By mixed farming, two purposes serve two purposes are solved by one solution. Now, these were the advantages and disadvantages. It may require much labor. Obviously, two crops means much labor. And second, possibilities for mechanization are limited. So mechanization means how to yield, how to remove weeds, how to spray insecticides and pesticides. And if it is a large farm, so you need more people and more input in order to get a good output. Now, what is mixed farming? Let's have a clear definition again. Fine. Mixed farming, children, I repeat again, mixed farming is a type of farming in which, yes, mixed farming is a type of farming in which both the growing of crops as well as raising of livestock has taken place. The cultivation of crops alongside the rearing of animals, meat or milk defines mixed farming. For example, a mixed farm may grow cereal pulses crops such as wheat, rye, bajra, etc., and also keep cattle, sheep, pigs, or poultry. In such a way, both the purposes of soil, that is, livestock is also reared and farm is also maintained. This we have already done, that why mixed farming. Now, quick review on advantages of mixed farming. Increased level of nutrition, greater food security, allows farmer to grow fodder for animals in addition to crops, helpful in maintaining fertility and biodiversity of soil using animals manures. Obviously, when animals are reared on a farm, animals would be reared on a farm, so naturally the manure, the farmer may not go ahead with the purchasing or buying of manures. Now, offers high ROI, that is return on investment, as compared to normal farming, can take place round the clock 24/7 throughout the year, and provides the farmer with multiple sources of income. Now, this point is very important, that it provides the farmer with a multiple source of income. Naturally, it is obvious, if crops are two types of crops are grown, cattle is being reared on the same farm, it is going to fetch you with handsome results, sorry. But the only thing is that the losses are also there. Now let's see what are the losses or disadvantages. See, disadvantages of mixed farming: decreased level of production, tons per hectare or milk per animal, high risk or vulnerability, inappropriate climate conditions, rearing of young animals for replacing old animals, makes controlling, monitoring a bit difficult task, selecting farming is not available. So these were the advantages and disadvantages of mixed farming. So children, when we are moving to the next point, after this is major food crops. This is the last part that we are concluding with. This is major food crops. Okay children, till here it was about farming. Now what are the major food crops that are being cultivated as, you can say, for commercial purposes or for personal use. The first crop, can you see which crop it is? Maize. The first crop is maize. Let's see what is the climatic conditions and how do we go ahead with the cultivation of such crops, and for which purposes is this crop grown. Fine children. Maize, this is the maize requires moderate temperature, rainfall and lots of sunshine. It needs well drained fertile soils. Maize is grown in, remember these characteristic these particular states, these particular countries children, because you will be going ahead with the marking of the map for these places. So which are the places where actually this crop called maize is grown? North America, Brazil, China, Russia, Canada, India and Mexico. After this we have cotton. What do we have children? Cotton. You can see the small cotton plant over here. Cotton requires high temperature, light rainfall and 210 frost-free days and bright sunshine for its growth. It grows well on black and alluvial soil. China, USA, India, Pakistan, Brazil and Egypt. These are the leading producers. I repeat, China, USA, India, Pakistan, Brazil, Egypt are the leading producers of cotton. It is one of the main raw materials for the cotton textile industry. Now, what is the next crop that is grown? It is jute. What is it? Jute, children. Jute was also known as golden fiber. Jute was also known as golden fiber. It is an important term. It may come for 1 mark question. It grows well on alluvial soil and requires high temperature, heavy rainfall and humid climate. This crop is grown in tropical areas. I repeat that this crop is grown in tropical areas, India and Bangladesh. The next crop, children, is coffee. When we talk about the next crop is coffee. Coffee is the beverage which is highly consumed by everyone. Now, what are the conditions which pertain to it? That is, coffee requires warm and wet climate, well drained loamy soil. That is the important feature, loamy soil. Hills slopes are more suitable for the growth of this crop. Brazil and Colombia as well as India are the leading producers of this crop. After this we have tea, which is the national beverage of our country. Okay, tea is a beverage crop grown on plantations and it requires cool climate, well distributed high rainfall throughout the year for the growth of its tender leaves. So children, this is the last portion of your crops, and the rest of the information will be given you in the notes. The last portion which is left we'll discuss in the next class. Okay children, thank you and Saira.